Simply phenomenal. Hello and welcome to this pristine island paradise. Oh no, that's not good. That is very not good. Bleh! Let's go.
I don't know how the hell this happened, but those bastards found us. They've made planetfall and are attacking Fort Clark and the outlying civilian centers.
Okay. I mean, you probably know the drill at this point, skipping and interrupting cutscenes. And without further ado, hello gents and welcome back to the channel. Supreme Commander Forged Alliance, an RTS from 2007, and this one really aged like fine wine. The graphics don't really show their age and the gameplay and mechanics hold up well. For the most part. Sure. Anyway, in this game you command all manner of vehicles, from tanks to hovercraft to airplanes, and not to forget giant robots. You don't get that feeling from just looking at them at all, but perspective matters. Here's a nuke for Skik. Wow. Nah, just kidding. But it will become somewhat of a theme during this video. Here's a tree for scale. But other than compared to trees, it all feels not so massive actually.
Damn it, they're attacking the gate. Get on planet while you still can.
Before we jump into the action though, I must apologize. The audio recording for the game was not happy. You hear my fan and there's a crackle. But, well, it's too late to fix that now.
It's time to get you down there while we still can. Damn it, they're attacking the gate. Get on planet while you still can.
When spawning in, you get to choose one of these three factions. The UEF, which is essentially Earth's, well, ex-Earth's forces. Cyberans, which are cybernetically modified humans that were basically enslaved by the UEF for quite a while. And the Aeon Illuminate, which is more of a religious type of faction. Maybe a bit fanatic even. I mean, they literally offer the option to self-sacrifice as a means to build stuff. But for now, it's UEF time. Game isn't doing too hot right now. You know what time it is? Backstory time. In the first game it was kind of a free-for-all between these three, but as the name of this game implies, they have entered an alliance, however uneasy said alliance might be, for the sake of messing with the Seraphim. That alien faction that came from that gate in the intro and bombed my sweet little island retreat, I mean Earth. Now there is almost a science behind what each faction stands for and is good at, but that is not important for what I'm doing here. I'll be switching factions for each mission, but play similarly with all of them anyway, so not all that smart, but very me. We are thrown into what remains of the space after that previous attack and are tasked to rebuild an attack/rescue. Who'd have funk in an RTS campaign? Before we start though, I should probably explain a few things. Mainly how the game works, because a friend of mine watched the first draft of this video with me and told me that it is quite hard to follow along if you don't know the game. I'll try at least, but if you're already familiar with the game or don't care, feel free to skip ahead to around about 7 minutes. Where to begin however? Okay, let's first have a look at the interface. The top middle is game controls and menus, top right is the time, unit cap and objectives, and below that is a list of currently idle engineering units and factories. All along the bottom you have your unit and building specific menus and controls, including tooltips for whatever your mouse hovers over. The top left is a bit more difficult. The upper panel is the resource overview. The bars and numbers underneath them indicate our storage levels of mass green and power orange with our current net gain or loss next to it. And on the right it shows detailed numbers for income and expenditure. Power basically just means electricity, needed for shields, mass extractors, factories, you name it. It is also what the artillery uses for ammo. Don't ask me why though. Producing it can take many forms and is maybe more complex than it would seem at first glance. Mass on the other hand is materials, for lack of a better word. It's needed in every construction project, whether it be a building or unit. It also has a few possible sources and many more possible setups and can be even worse in terms of complexity. I mean, which one do you choose? By the way, the forests and boulders around the map also hold mass, although it's not a lot. I could have also used the built-in resource overlay, but I forgot about that one. Mass will also usually be your bottleneck, and it should, because it has fewer negative consequences. Between all producing and consuming buildings, you can get proximity bonuses that either increase the production or decrease consumption, which makes crunching the numbers even worse. Marked by these little connections on the ground between the buildings. It is also a very unique type of system compared to I think all other RTS style games. In most, if not all of them, you can only build something if you have the required resources and storage, and then it either just gets placed instantly or you need to put some work and or time into building it. Here however, it is real time in and output in units per second. You can place and start building anything you like regardless of your economy. And whatever unit builds it transfers mass and power into it at some rate over time. And once your storage runs dry, any newly incoming mass gets distributed according to the number and types of units doing the building and the type of thing being built. It's pretty complicated to memorize, let alone master all this, so don't expect me to give a comprehensive and detailed explanation of everything. Okay, that's that. The bottom panel is for all kinds of camera options and overlays, as well as signaling to your allies in multiplayer. It's something that I rarely use, if at all, and well, there is something that would have been quite useful for what's coming now. This game uses, and I think even invented, tactical zoom. In most other games you move the camera with WASD or the arrow keys, or you touch your cursor on the edge of the screen. The last two you can also do here if you really can't go without. But that is just not the right way. Here you use something that is already in the palm of your hand and just mangle the scroll wheel, keeping the other hand free. You can quickly go into a full map view with a single scroll, take a look around and then hone in on a point of interest, all within a second or two. And it is not just easy to learn but also shockingly precise. But for making a video, this is gonna look absolutely chaotic and will be almost impossible to follow. And I think the split screen could have been worth a try. So sorry in advance for erratic looking camera movements. But now that I'm done hitting you guys in the face with all this, let's get back to the video.
You just gated into a hell of a mess, Colonel, but I'm glad you're here.
Don't celebrate my arrival just yet. You haven't seen me in action.
The damaged shield generator will help protect you from hostile fire. Repair it. HQ out.
Yeah, sure. And one of the first 3 tasks is immediately ignored. Well done, past me. Don't worry, it actually kinda makes sense to stall for time like this. Cause I'm not the most proficient player and never was. Overcautious and somewhat unorganized would probably describe my playstyle quite well. The first mission calls for 2 artillery positions and 2 small bases wiped off the map, and there is any number of possible ways to achieve that. Small tanks, a bigger tank, an airstrike, artillery of my own, tactical missiles, the UEF Billy, a backpack launcher, or even an ICBM. Wait, isn't that a bit over the top? What? What's this? Nukes are not just fair game, but standard fare and used frequently. Sure, whatever. But resources come first, so mass storage around the extractors to increase mass yield and a lot of power and mass generation. Shields, defensive emplacements, mainly against air, you know, the usual stuff. My commander also gets some upgrades down the line, because why not? It's all relatively repetitive, so I'm gonna do some skipping. When did that thing explode? Yeah, I checked and that was already broken when I got here. Sounds almost like an excuse, but I have it on good authority that these 4 will all explode together when one gets destroyed. Ask me how I know. What the fuck? Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay. Restart. The other side will, by the way, not just watch you do your thing and constantly sends air and ground raids. A bad time to lose power. Maybe I should turn some of these off. 20 minutes in and I'm still snails pacing my way forward. And I still haven't done much in terms of objectives either. Now we need some air staging, because of course I do.
Enemy subs are operating in the channel north of your LZ, Commander. Destroy them. HQ out.
Yeah, don't worry. We're gonna get there. Yeah, just keep them coming. Actually, now that we're here, go. This upgrade on the commander takes a ton of energy, so I have to pause and resume it whenever there is an enemy raid so that the radar and shields come back online as needed, cause I'm a genius. I'll explain what that thing was shortly. These here are Support Armored Command Units, or SACUs. They can be teleported in, Or, well, looks more like building them on the spot, but whatever. They are a sort of lesser version of the regular Armored Command Unit, or ACU. They can build all the same buildings but have differing upgrade paths than the ACU, which are also different depending on the faction. But like an ACU, they produce mass and power. A minuscule amount, but that can be upgraded through some resource investment. It's nowhere near as economical as the respective buildings, but it allows you to have your production condensed into a smaller area and move it around if necessary. And they can also be used offensively in a pinch. Just note that as noble sacrifices, these are less useful than an actual ACU, cause the explosion they cause is rather small. But for me, these will almost exclusively produce resources anyway. Wait, who put that on pause? Commander, this is the Allied Army's resource management. Please refrain from using our limited personnel in the manner you just described. HQ out. Hold on, I never said I'd use them like that. These are things I saw other players do with them in the past, and accidents and poor planning do happen, and all this was just for demonstrating that it's not worth it. Whatever, there are no wrongdoings on my part when recording for this presentation. Not on purpose, at least. Just great, and again someone is breathing down my neck. Ugh. Apart from ACUs and SACUs, there is many more things that go out with a bang. Like all power generation, mass fabrication, and even some regular ground units. Just look for that little tag that says volatile. Plus all manner of aerial wreckage can damage things by crashing into them. Commander, please. Whatever do you mean? Since I consider the space sufficient for the time being, I start work on my offensive capabilities. Which is to say, straight to experimental units. Those being by far the most expensive but also usually quite powerful. But they are not necessarily always a wise choice. Still, you'll see a pattern here that apart from some aircraft, there will be no or scarcely any production of non-experimental ground combat units. You go there, you go there, and our newcomer just... I don't know, there, somewhere around there. This is the Fat Boy. It's basically a massive tank combined with a factory. It has large cannons, small cannons, torpedo launchers, it's amphibious, has a shield, a full-blown factory in the trunk, and it can refuel and repair aircraft. Quite nice, right? Well, its air defense is very meager, unless you deploy a few at a time like I do here. And would you look at that, 3 of them. Time to have some fun. Just an FYI, you can also get mods in here, which then looks a little something like this. While I'm on the topic of mods, may I go on a tangent here? Since the game's developer and publisher no longer exist, more or less, this game would normally be dead, but that's not actually true at all. Introducing Forged Alliance Forever, a community-ran game launcher that has been around for 13 years at this point, although calling it that is probably inaccurate to say the least. Over those years, they turned Forged Alliance into a wildly superior version of itself. Balancing patches, content additions, bug fixes, solving long-standing issues, full modding support, a giant library of mods and maps, additional game modes, more complex and capable AI opponents, a full ranking system, online matchmaking, and even organizing tournaments. And the list goes a lot deeper than that. I mean, they even added another entire faction. So if you own the game and haven't already, give it a try, link below. What you see here, however, is the vanilla experience, but if the video does well, I'll happily go for a fully modded campaign. And tangent over. Since the Fat Boys quickly cleared out one base and both artillery positions, I will now claim the mass deposits there. In the meantime, it's time for another UEF specialty, the Maver. A very, very, very heavy artillery piece with almost unlimited range. Meaning about 80 kilometers, while... But Commander, that's not what unlimited means. Wait, let me finish speaking. Meaning about 80 kilometers, while the largest maps are 81 by 81 kilometers. So unless it's built in a corner, it can hit everywhere on the map, hence why I said unlimited. Furthermore, it has pinpoint accuracy and according to the wiki is considered a game ender, which I fully believe, cause it one-shots every non-experimental unit and most buildings. It is also an experimental unit itself, so it is stupid expensive, second only to the Seraphim nuke launcher, and takes forever to build, also second only to that nuke launcher. Which gives me plenty of time to gain air superiority and build more Fat Boys. These things are so freaking expensive, it's insane. But once done, Mavers hammer through most shields in only a few shots and whatever is underneath them, well... To whom it may concern. This normally takes, what, a few minutes? That sure is fast, what with all the SACUs building it. Don't know if I really need ships, but here goes.
Commander.
When all required objectives are done, the map expands and gives you your next task, which often is accompanied by a ton of enemies coming your way, worst of which are large air raids. You'll soon see what I mean. I'm gonna try anyways. Okay, now we need... You might be asking yourself, how did he get there? Well, one of the things all ACUs can have is a personal teleporter. It's ridiculously expensive to build and takes many 1,000 units of power and some time to charge. But once it's done, well, me now be somewhere else. Let's do it something like this and then add artillery here. Going here myself and building some defensive structures has been my go-to for many a playthrough, and I'm gonna stick to it. It's fast and relatively safe. I love how my artillery is slowly eating away at these bases. I mean, what he said. While I make myself at home, my artillery is free to do whatever it wants and is slowly wiping the map clean, while I struggle to line up my quote-unquote tanks. I swear I'm needed here. Okay, all of these.
Operation area expanded.
Looks like Gary is sending out the welcome wagon.
This is not gonna be fun. This is exactly what I was talking about. Tons of enemy units now swarming in. But since I'm prepared, little comes of
The
it.
UEF is within my sights.
Ever realized that?
There's a second town east of your position. The Order Commander hasn't attacked them yet, but can only be a matter of time. Please protect it.
We've done good. This right here is a faction-specific side quest. There are 6 total story missions if you play vanilla, but only the first 4 have these types of tasks. 1 each. As far as I'm aware anyway. Meaning that you'll only get one if you're playing the correct faction for that mission. Another reason why I'll be switching around. None of these are important for the progression of the respective mission or the game as a whole, but I will do my best to complete them anyway. For this one here, it is protecting and then later evacuating a settlement for the UEF. In the second mission, spoiler alert, it is planting a tracking device for the Cyberns. For the third, evacuating a temple of the Aeon Illuminate. And the final one is recovering someone's remains for the Cyberns. Well, that is not how this was supposed to go.
That sure was a pretty sight. The next Order Commander won't be so eager to flap her jaw. HQ out.
That was not my intention. That was the artillery, wasn't it? Yeah, there's
Clark is
impact
located
craters.
to the northwest, and the Seraphim Commander is to the northeast.
Normally, you would be defending that city in the east and later help in its evacuation by protecting a convoy. But we'll get to do that still, just a bit different. Gary normally gets wind of that and tries to hunt down said convoy. But my artillery apparently had other plans and just worked its way through her base until, well, that. Guess escorting will be a lot easier now. On a related note, that alien commander launches a nuke at the town shortly after Gary is taken out. While the trucks spawn when the last of the attacking ships are destroyed. So if your completion of those tasks is poorly timed, well, these trucks don't take kindly to being hit by a nuke. I told you it would become a theme. Okay, time to defend this fort and...
The Order Commander was to come at us again.
Sequence broken the game there.
Maybe they'll think twice before attacking like that again. Good job. HQ out.
Yeah, I told you right. That artillery is insane. But seeing the map like this, I think it sent a f**k you straight to the alien commander's face. I mean, almost the entirety of his base is still in one piece. Decreasingly so, but it is. So the auto-targeting must have picked out the commander specifically. Don't get me wrong though, fine with me.
Hit it again.
I mean, he's dead. Since all the enemy commanders are dead and the last enemy bases are slowly getting eaten by mini-nukes dropping from up high, Maver shells, the mission would normally be over. But since I might have broken the order of things, one of the primary objectives still stands, which is to find and destroy an enemy experimental unit. Something that is supposed to happen before the Seraphim commander gets taken out, but whatever. So I'm just waiting around, amassing gunships and waiting to spot my final target. For the first, and actually only time for this playthrough, I ran up against the unit cap, which counts both mobile units as well as buildings. A definite point in favor of churning out tons of SACUs since that keeps the base size to a minimum. Fewer shields, less anti-air needed, yada yada. So with a little bit of Control K I can clear out whatever I think I no longer need. Nice feature by the way, oh no.
Commander, please be more mindful of your strategic resources. We cannot
Wait, they are automated machines that were built here to begin with. I'm just giving them back to the planet so I can make sure that I have enough firepower to... all of these are indispensable.
Sure, HQ out.
Can you rebuild this, please? Thank you. Actually, let's do a bit of a strategic approach. Power, 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 power. Let's just kill this base.
That's what I love to see. Burn, baby, burn.
Who? Where? What? You know, for once I agree with that unlikable c***. Look, I don't think these guys are gonna make it, but if so... Ah, there it is. It's half dead. So all things considered, this thing's done. Oh. Yeah.
All enemy forces have been defeated and Fort Clark is safe.
That sure was fast, but I mean, I spent an hour 40 preparing, right? This whole thing can theoretically be done in about an hour less than that. By others, not by me. I think. Should I try? Yes. Yes, I should. Did it. Yes!
All enemy forces have been defeated.
Maybe it's good that I can't skip the expo, because I think that's actually helping me, because I can't remember what I'm doing. Mission 2 throws us straight into combat, although this feels more like beating someone up than a life or death situation. Using Cyberns here will not help me. Much about playing Cybern is similar enough to UEF, so the base building itself is not that dissimilar. Just keep in mind that the Cyberns are normally more geared towards playing a bit more aggressively. See handy chart for reference. And like in the previous mission, there is these rude little shits that just keep attacking every now and then.
Your mere presence here desecrates this planet. You are an abomination.
Fuck yourself. Yep, I agree. Religious fanatic bitch. I fully agree. Okay. And only half an hour in, things get interesting. This cute little spider is called...
But it has only 6 legs, Commander.
Yes, but it is literally called a spider bot and it crawls around on spider-like legs. Good enough? This cute little spider is called a monkey lord. One of 3 experimentals of the Cybern faction. Technically there's a 4th, but it is not available until the last mission. Let's take this guy for a little spin. Okay, do your thing.
You'll pay dearly for destroying these facilities.
Not sure if this one is enough to actually tear the entire base down, but I think it's mostly love bricks. One of my favorite assault units. That's one hell of an economy, huh? I could theoretically capture more resources here. Oh well, that's it with that base. Just gonna mop up and continue on. Wait. Yep.
The approach to the prison is going to be a tactical nightmare.
Time to act as the hero and rescue some people from a prison. Tactical nightmare be damned. You'll see what I mean. First though, something else. As preparation for my next move, I already planned to discard the resource allocation system, or short RAS, that I put on my commander. A handy little tool which greatly increases the ACU's output of mass and power. This is, by the way, also that thing that I usually put on the SACUs. But since my economy is now quite capable on its own... Huh? Hey, don't show that again! Where was I? Ah, yes. I now need a unit that can capture stuff, so some form of engineer, and that can ideally teleport, since transporting things by air is quite dangerous, and walking... well, they are engineers, not scouts. So at first I attempt to fill that role with an SACU, which takes some time to build. So in the meantime, another little project. The Scaffis. What is there to say? Experimental unit, mobile, artillery. That's the gist. That being said, it is quite slow, can't take a lot of damage, and has relatively limited range. But it do be rapid fire and does tons of damage, over a admittedly quite spread out area. Accuracy is not its strong suit, but also not strictly that important. All of this is unless you play Forged Alliance forever, because you see... However, when firing at moving objects, it has to lead the target by a lot, making it potentially quite a hazard.
Not sure if that's a smart idea.
At least if they are already close or closing in. Current me knows of an event that past me will go through eventually and learn the hard way. Let's test the strength of the bond between the factions. Thinking about that. Will this work? Because I'm almost certain I can use those materials more effectively. Can't claim those, can I? Artillery. Continue. Get rid of that. Don't question my methods, right? Don't question. This works. Okay, that should do it. You. They all missed. This should be faster. There we go. Oh shit.
Commander, I'm receiving disturbing reports of what you've been up to over
Hold
the last...
on, this was an unmanned automated building and my current economy is less than ideal. No, don't look there! I need every bit of mass to fund the next projects and get this done and over with. And this was also just a poor time to look at the numbers, I swear. I mean, I'm well aware that intentional friendly fire might be considered a crime, but the galaxy sure has seen much worse over... hello? Huh, he gone. While it's already paused and we're on that topic, a quick side note here. Everything that does AoE damage can be used on allied units if you know how, or when the auto-targeting f***s you over. Some units can potentially even kill themselves by firing into a mountain, hill, or at really close range with explosive ordnance. And if you have a quest NPC or building, watch out for where you put certain weapons, cause they will block and or detonate the projectiles.
No,
Oh?
let go. I must reprimand him. Just let it go. We need him. No, I won't. I can't. Quick, cut the...
What the hell are they up to? What am I doing to the landscape? Ugh. Remember that chart I made? Well, okay, what can you guys do? Here we have a Cybran SACU which does not in fact list the teleporter as an upgrade. In my defense, it has been a fair while since playing this in any quote-unquote serious way, so I don't have all the details memorized anymore. But after having played another 60 hours for this video, I now know that only the Aeon SACU can have a teleporter. So the only remaining candidate for my little excursion is myself. Which means Operation Teleporter is a go. Now, actually building that takes a ton of power, but I think that I have... Oh. That's choking out the artillery, isn't it? Yep. Well, that's a problem. No radar, the one that's still working is not mine, no artillery support, no shields, and reduced mass production. By the way, buildings that need power like shields, artillery and mass fabricators will still try and draw power without actually doing anything, exacerbating the problem. I have concerns. I mean, it was probably not hard to guess what my plan was, right? Gunships, defensive turrets of all sorts.
One of our operatives is ready to plant explosives anywhere in the field, Commander.
That's good.
The explosion should be sufficient to destroy the targeted building.
I would never turn down an offer like this, especially when it involves... Sure will. Depends on if I survive this. Oh, yeah, I totally forgot. I added a laser to the ACU at some point. Although its usefulness seems questionable while building. I have a big bzzz. And while moving as well. That's surprisingly inefficient. You, go in there, shoot this as well. Don't shoot the prison. How about that? Just point the laser somewhere, it's fine.
You rescued us just in time, Commander.
Before we waste that, go there.
The loyalist traitors will never make it off this planet. I will see to it myself.
Bye bye. Expo time. The other bit. Oh, sorry. Again, Expo time. Celine and QAI are pissed off now and send a group of experimentals my way. But what's this? Princess Burke, never heard of her before, the loyalist leader, is still alive, which makes Celine question her beliefs. What a time for that. And now she turns back and is on our side. That was fast. In all honesty though, bring it on. I was kinda looking forward to that. Bit of a shame. And while all of that was going down, I was just peacefully building a Soul Ripper. A little, well, not that little gunship that shreds hard. Cybran experimentals, assemble! Technically we are still missing one, but that comes later.
Strategic launch. Detected.
Detecting multiple strategic missile launches. Looks like the two lovebirds are nuking each other.
They're really going at it now, don't they?
QAI UAI's got a cybernate. HQ out.
The betrayal by Celine was not within expected parameters of this conflict.
I wonder...
I was wrong to have sided with you.
You know...
Once you have destroyed language matrix.
As I was trying to say...
UAI's bases to the northwest. HQ out.
You know... It's...
My influence is much more vast.
Can I please get a word in? Can I talk? Okay. They But apparently it's the game's turn to do the interrupting this time, huh? But all jokes aside, what is it with this game and this reckless abandon in nuking everything? Absolute madness, and I'm not even the one at fault for once.
The tracking bug is ready to deploy.
This is the second of those faction-specific tasks I mentioned earlier. It's designed so that it may be a challenge, but a Soul Ripper clears the air defense easily enough, which allows me to put an engineer there no problem. Why is this thing armed?
The engineer has reached its destination.
That was almost too easy. Wait,
Attack and destroy.
they can't shoot me, right?
Dostja out.
They don't have ground defense. Oh, he died. Yeah, that didn't work out. At some point, something got him. How did he die? Now I kinda wanted to finish this mission like the last one by raining down artillery, which with cyber attack would only work by getting a lot closer. Like when teleporting into our new best friend's base and... Ah, that's easily in range. Do 3. And we'll see. I don't know what type, but it's artillery. Oh. Well, how would something like this just escape my notice? Two things actually. For one, in that earlier sequence what is supposed to happen is that Celine wins and destroys all QAI monkey lords. And second is that these things come equipped with a stealth field. So until it enters the range of an Omni sensor, it's completely invisible. Unless you have line of sight, obviously. Want a bit more info on that? The Omni sensor array, well, tag-free radar essentially, only has so much range for its all-seeing Omni sensor. And then some more, well, a lot more for radar. Which can be blocked by a few things. Should be dead any second, yeah. Since I changed my mind again and didn't just wanna repeat what I did last mission, this time at least, I thought better of it and so it ends with an aerial assault using ladybugs. Big, giant ladybugs.
If you destroy this ECU, another shall rise in its place. I am endless.
No?
This is
Don't think
just
so.
a shell.
The Loyalists are en route. Just a few more moments, and the Seraphim Commander will be ours.
That's up here, correct? Yeah. Have I even talked about what the ultimate goal of this mission was? It's capturing a Seraphim Commander that is scheduled to arrive here. I forgot.
Hello. Soon, all of its secrets will be ours.
Okay. I'm pretty much done here for now, so this kind of feels like a repeat of that first Stronghold video, right? Ending right when it's time to go and rescue someone important. Here's to hoping that that does not become a trend. Anyway, see you in the next one. Bye!
Commander, I wanted to personally thank you for aiding my beloved loyalists.